say greetings and welcome to The Mic is Hot, one of Atlanta's hottest sports podcasts in the state of Georgia. I'm your host, DJ Thomas, where we talk sports around the ATL. So tell a friend to tell a friend that the mic is hot right now. And without further ado, let me introduce you to my co-host for today's show. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Bigtime!
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Once again, it's glad to be back on the mic. It's hot with my big-time partner and co-host, Dennis DJ Thomas.
Well, Bigtime, it's always a pleasure, brother. Love to hear you. You know, I think tonight we got a super hot show. We previously discussed it earlier today, and it's the hottest thing in the ATL right now. And the hottest question on every network, NFL network, Atlanta website, ESPN, you name it. It just popped off today. Talking about our boy, our main man, Mr. Julio Jones. He made a decision. The Falcons made a decision first. They said they was not going to pay Julio. Julio, for you guys that not familiar with what's going on, Julio's been beefing over since actually before the draft about he wanted to redo his contract. He showed some signs. He started deleting stuff from his Facebook and just a few things, but he never said anything. But right before training camp, he decided he wasn't going to show up at training camp. Got fined, and it came out later that Julio decided he wanted a new contract. Am I right, Mr. Big Time? He wanted a new contract. So
you are right. You are right to some extent. He hadn't said a whole lot. That's what has been reported. I haven't heard Julio Jones say not one thing.
Right.
And that's part of the problem I have with what he's doing here. So, but we're gonna have plenty of time in this conversation to chop that up. But you're right.
Okay. So after that, we assumed that Julio showed up at Matt Ryan's training camp over summer out in California, where Matt Ryan brought a bunch of players in, and they threw the ball around and, got the timing down and stuff like that. So people assumed that Julio would show up for the first day of training camp. Well, today, 7/24, July the 24th, 2018, Julio Jones said, I ain't coming. I'm not coming to practice because y'all ain't paid me. I said I wanted more money. I want a new contract, but the Falcons said, we ain't doing it. We'll talk to you next year, Julio, but we ain't going to pay you this year. And so the talk around town is, what's the deal? Should the Falcons pay Julio, or should Julio just show up for practice? Big Time and myself, we kind of have a difference. We got a difference on this subject, and we getting ready to talk about it. So, Big Time, I'm gonna go ahead and let you start rolling with this thing, baby. Let's try to keep it peaceful. We ain't explicit today, so you can get hot. I'm gonna get hot, but we're gonna try to keep that profanity down, and let's roll with it. What do you think about Julio Jones not showing up for the first day of training camp?
Well, I think I have a major problem with this whole situation, and to answer your specific question as to what problem I have with him not showing up, I have a problem with that. Now, having said that, having answered that question that you asked, let me clarify and let me express myself briefly here, before I delve into my whole reasoning for what I'm going to say. A player has a right to not report to training camp, and I welcome that player to exhibit or exercise his right to not do that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not opposed to him not doing that
mm-hmm.
in the context of him trying to get more money. I would love to see Julio Jones at training camp because he needs to be working with the team. Obviously, it's going to be a sideline distraction. And if he feels he needs to do that to help get more money, then he has that right. Having said that, Dennis, I don't think Julio Jones is going about this the right way. And on the other side of it, I agree with what the Falcons are doing 100%.
And that's where we differ at. And that's where we differ. I think the Falcons knew about this months in advance. They knew about it before Matt Ryan contract. They knew about it before the draft. They had the money they decided to give it to Matt Ryan most of all. But I think what happened last time Julio contract was up for renewal, he didn't. Julio had even said somewhere, I think it was back last year, that he would not hold out. And I think the Falcons was believing that Julio wouldn't hold out. We'll just we'll do a few things, but Julio's not going to hold out. We figure he's going to show up because it's the first time in his career he's ever done that. And most people don't see Julio that type of person. But I would say, like I said today, and I say again, I think any player in the NFL should go out and try to get his money because the NFL stands for not for long. And any team next year, they can come back and they can say, you know what, we're going to trade you. No matter what they say, the word ain't worth a dime. The word ain't worth a dime. You said earlier, and we talked about this, and I'm sure you're going to mention it again, the Falcons went out and got them insurance policy. The insurance policy calls Kevin Ridley. And Julio saw the writing on the wall and realized that, hey, look, I need to get my money now because next year these guys might decide to trade me. Might decide to trade me. I'm talking loud. I'm trying to think at the same time. But I do not agree with the Falcons. They knew about this problem. They overlooked it, and that's why we are where we are right now. And the person that hurts the most is the fans and the brotherhood because Julio needs to be on that field. I agree. Julio needs to be on the field. But I don't know, and you don't know, and none of us know because we haven't heard the Falcons say yet, or Julio say yet, if they have tried to negotiate a settlement. But I don't think the Falcons have tried to meet this man halfway. I don't think Julio's the kind of person to say, I understand they've been talking about giving him some incentives, but I think Julio wants money now. I listened to one of the guys from ESPN earlier today, and he was talking about how there is a way they can restructure his contract by going into his second year, was third year, his last 2 years of contract, and pay him that money now, and also with the incentive, so they can make it work. I don't think they want to make it work, and they won't affect the cap. What say you, Big Time?
Well, let me back up a little bit, Dennis, and say this. This question about we disagree in terms of you say the Falcons should give him the money. I say the Falcons should not give him the money. Well, let me clarify my position. The Falcons, I'm all for any player that we agree upon because you just said that. I'm all for any player getting their money. And I'm all for the Falcons giving Julio Jones the money that he wants. Here's what I disagree with, Dennis.
There your butt. Bring your butt in there. Where's your butt?
Here's where I disagree with. Giving it to him in the situation that they're currently in and Julio is in, and that mainly Julio, that is this. I don't agree with no team going 3 years out of a guy's contract. 3 years before a guy's contract is over, and you go in there and make a move such as this, when it could and will send a message to the other players who contract is coming up. I have another partner that comes in on the mic from time to time. You know him as well, Dennis. His position is this, and I got to use him as an example, even though he's not on the show.
Talk about it, because he'll hear the show. Talk about it. Tell him.
He said, well, this is something that all players in the league does. All the time, they do that. Well, yes, if that's fine. I don't see a lot of history of it. He said, well, you don't hear the history because you don't talk about it. It happens all the time. Well, I don't care if that's the case. I don't have proof that it is. He says he can provide proof. Well, here's what I'm talking about, the Falcons. If you got 3 years out of your contract, I don't agree with the Falcons making that decision to say we're going to give you a new contract. Second point.
Why don't you agree? Why don't you agree?
Well, because it'll send a message. One of the things, I'm a business owner of two businesses. Now, this is an example I'm giving. It may not apply here because this is the NFL. This is a special player. Athletes of certain other professions don't even apply when it comes to certain rules of standard rules across the board in any business. But I got to use this example because the premise or the basis of my example when it comes to ownership is I own two businesses. And my businesses have been successful because I am conscious. I am very aware. I'm very mindful of not spending money I don't need to spend. No business is in business to lose money. Now, when you look at the Falcons, The Falcons and professional sports is a business. And they're not in business to lose money. And by giving this man this amount of money, 3 years out of his contract, could potentially put this team in a losing proposition several years down the road. Why, Dennis? You ask. Because they have several other players who are not as good as Julio Jones, but who are as important as Julio Jones to the overall greatness of this team as they are right now.
That's the
and
key.
That is mainly on the defensive side. Excuse me.
That's the key. Julio Jones is the number 5. NFL had a ranking of the top players in the NFL, including quarterback, and Julio Jones was number 4. You're not talking about other players on the team. When you make it to the number 4 player in the whole NFL league, the 32 teams, all the players. I think he deserves a little more credit. I think he deserves a little more. He's not trying to break the bank. He's not trying to put the team out.
He said he wanted to do
the only thing he asked the team to do is step up. He wants the team to step up. And take care of him.
Contract,
he know what's going on, Eddie. He can read the writing on the wall just like everybody else can.
He did not say he wanted to renew his contract. He did not say he wanted to renegotiate his contract.
You said
we haven't heard him say. First of all, let's set the record straight on the hot mic tonight. Julio Jones have not said one word, and I got a problem with that. You want to get it rocket up in here tonight? I haven't heard this man say not one word.
We haven't heard the Falcons say anything either.
I have seen actions. I have seen actions that has, as we both have agreed, and you have said plenty of times before. I don't think he would have did what he's now doing. It's not like Julio Jones. It doesn't matter because his actions speaking louder than his words.
It's been perfectly clear.
We don't know what he's
on all the networks, NFL Network, ESPN, on the Falcons website. Julio Jones wants to renegotiate his contract. It's perfectly clear. That's what's been said. So I mean, there's a reliable source out there that says that's what he wants to do.
Okay, I will give you that if that being correct. But here's what I also stand by: what the Falcons are doing and what I agree. If renegotiating your contract is going to potentially cause us to have to mess up other future contracts.
I just told you earlier they don't have to do that. There's a way of doing it without messing up other contracts.
You're not a lawyer. You're not a lawyer. You don't know.
No. I don't know, but I got a reliable source. I heard today and I heard again earlier from somebody that deals with that kind of stuff and said it has been done in the NFL before.
So let me ask you this question: if you heard that and you believe that, why do you think the Falcons have put out, not just now, mind you, months ago they told Julio Jones, we're not going to do nothing with this year. Why do you think the Falcons are disagreeing?
That's the key question. Nobody knows. Because the Falcons haven't really said anything about what they're trying to do.
Let's look at this logically. See, if you got a stable of bulls over here, and your best bull in the your best bull in the stable is the one you need the most, why would you go get rid of that bull? It ain't the Falcons don't want Julio Jones. You think the Falcons don't want him? Are they doing something mysteriously to him just because he's asking for more money? It's apparent there's something that they believe if they do this, it's going to be detrimental to the team going forward. It will be detrimental to the team. We don't know why, but let's assume for the sake of how good he is. You've got to use common sense here. If this man is good enough to say, well, we believe that if we let him go, what detriment if we don't re-sign him, here's what problem it can cause our team. It got to be the bigger issue, D. You are a business owner yourself. You cannot do stuff in the moment and you take a chance that it can affect your business in the future because your bottom line is making money. I would not want the Falcons to sign this man today and disrupt not just the money. Here's another thing where I go deep with this. It's not just the money that they would give him that I'm concerned about. I am concerned about the message that it's going to send. It's the message.
Man, players will understand what Julio is trying to do. You're not sending a message. Who you sending a message to? The other players are understanding this game. They understand the NFL and how it works. You got to get your money, man. I know. I know you repeat the same thing over and over again. That basically it's about 3 years.
the players also understand that it's a business that they don't have the power. The players don't own the team.
They don't have the stat. And I heard the same thing today. Most players
they don't own the team.
They can't do what Julio do. You can't take
why can't they do what Julio do?
Coleman can't go out and say, hey, I need to renegotiate. He don't have the same status. He's not the number 4
we don't know what
player
we
in the
don't know
NFL.
what you don't know. I know what a player's financial status is outside of football in terms of how he lives his life. We don't know that. You can't assume just because this man made a whole bunch of money and let the record reflect, that Julio Jones still will be among the highest paid receivers in the game this year, next year, and the next year. To be specific, he's going to make 10 this season. He will make 11 million a year next season. And the third year, he will make 13 a year. But that's beside the point. We don't know what players' financial status is, so we can't say they can't afford the whole lot. There might be guys say, you know what, I understand it's a business, and I'm not going to hold. Julio Jones, why did Julio Jones say, this is what I've been hearing on 92.9 all day, for the time that I heard it, where Julio Jones said 2015, if I held out, it would be seen as an act in my eyes as a selfish move. If I held out, I would be doing a damage to my fellow players. So when you hear these players going saying other teammates, which is being reported today, they're supposed to say Julio got to get his money. Arthur Blake's supposed to say Julio is a player for life, a Falcon for life. Julio Jones is an act of selfishness, as far as I'm concerned, because that's why you have an agent. Come go to work, let your agent do their job.
Well, maybe his agent is telling him to do that. Maybe his agent has a big part of him holding out. Maybe Julio Jones, like you said in 2015, is not the kind of person that would do it. He's never done this before. But maybe his agent and other people that has been in the NFL has encouraged him to do that. Now, is Julio in game shape? Is Julio going to be able to play? Yes. Julio done it in the past. Last year, he came out. He's already worked with Matt Ryan over the summer. He's already been to the summer camp. I think Matt Ryan held a 3-week summer camp with all the receiving or whatever. I mean, what more does he do? Last year, he had the season when he was injured. He didn't practice all week. He just came in and played. So I don't think it'll be a problem if Julio didn't go in. If he didn't practice in any of the training camp and came and played the first ball game, I don't think it would be a problem. Honestly,
well,
I don't think it'd be a problem.
You say that same thing every year. Now I'm gonna say every year. I know last year, and there may be other years, but I'll say specifically last year. Julio Jones was hurt and he wasn't there, and Julio Jones did not had one of the worst seasons he ever had as a Falcon. Not just Julio Jones, the receivers all dropped more balls than any other receiving core in the NFL. Anybody looking at Julio Jones and Matt Ryan, I'm not going to bring up Matt Ryan to boast his argument. If you want to, that's on you. Julio Jones and Matt Ryan have not been a great connection since Julio Jones been in the game.
Don't leave out the offensive coordinator. It's a key now. Don't leave out the offensive coordinator because the offensive coordinator called the play.
Part because he missed it. But I'm going to give you that statement that you just mentioned. I'm going to give you that.
Can I say it again?
Julio Jones.
Can I say it again? What I just said, what I tried to say. Don't forget about the offensive coordinator. Last year, last year they didn't run that many passing plays have they did before when Shanahan was there. I'm biting my words now.
It's Julio Jones been in the league now how many years?
I
think about 7, at least 7. It might be 8. I know at least 7. The same quarterback ever since he's been in the game.
Uh-huh.
And guess what? To be the number 4 best player in the NFL rated by the players, the coaches didn't do this. These are the players. And players may be judging their decision different than the coaches. But the players are voting him the fourth best player in the NFL.
So who do you think?
Let me finish my point.
Do you agree with that stat?
The 4th best player in the NFL who have the least amount of touchdowns and any other receiver of his capabilities. And I'm not beating him up. I'm not beating up nobody else for that reason. But here's what I am saying. For somebody to be of that level, you would think, wait a minute. So when you saying the Falcons, this, that, and the third with or without him, he's been a Falcon the whole time. Yeah, he's been a top-notch receiver, but it's something just not there when it comes to timing between him and Matt Ryan. There's something not there. So I brought that up not to beat him up on that end, not to bring.
Go ahead. Let you finish. I'm gonna get mine. Go ahead.
I'm not saying it to say Matt Ryan and Julio or whatever reason he hasn't did what he did, but I said it to say yeah, you might be right when you said Julio Jones missing this training camp wouldn't affect his play. But I would rather believe and hope, and I think it's correct, that if he was there getting reps, I believe it would be better. I'll say this and you spun. Julio Jones will probably hold out as long as he can until such time he'll come back and he'll continue to play. Because I believe this, the Falcons is not going to go in there and trade him, and the Falcons is probably going to go in there and work out something to their advantage that will cause Julio Jones to get back on that field. It's to their advantage, and I respect them doing that.
Again, I say the same thing I said about Matt Ryan earlier. I mean, we all agree. A lot of people agreed. Most people I know agreed. Said that they gave Matt Ryan too much money because he haven't earned it yet. And I'm not going to, like I said, that's another talk for another day, and I think we've had that talk before. But what I'm saying now, Julio Jones is trying to get money. You don't have an issue with it. You have an issue with it. You have an issue with it.
No, I don't. I don't have an issue with it.
Julio Jones,
my point, did it?
Julio Jones.
I don't have an issue with him getting money.
Let me finish. Julio Jones, I don't care if it's 3 years or 4 years left on the contract. If the man earned the money, I think he needed it. I think if he one of the best players he is the best player on your team, he should get paid for it. And I said this earlier, and I said it before, and I'm going to say it again. Julio Jones on the field makes Matt Ryan jobs a little bit easier. He makes it a little bit easier for him to find an open receiver, because when Julio's on that offense, the defensive coordinator is having a hard time trying to figure out who to cover. Because when Julio goes back in the secondary, the safety is definitely going to come over. If you don't pick him up, you're crazy, because Julio can burn you. So when Julio's on the field, the coverage is totally different. When Julio's off the field with Sanu and whoever else you got back there right now, they don't cover the offense the same way when Julio's not on the field. They won't even blitz when Julio's on the field most of the time. Now, again, makes Matt Ryan jobs easier because Matt Ryan is going to find an open guy. If Julio's covered, and that's part of the reason, just because Julio didn't score as many touchdowns doesn't mean he wasn't effective on the field. He made it possible for other people to be available. It's like you got 11 people on the field. If two people on one man, that means somebody's free. Somebody's free. And most people don't see it that way. That government, I don't understand. I think some of these people I listen to on the radio talk about the game. They talk, but they don't, and I expect more for players. I've heard some people on the NFL Network say this, but some people on these local radio stations that talk about Julio, he hadn't caught but 4 touchdowns, and he can't do this, he can't do that. This man affects the way other teams defend the offense. Importantly, now, like most people said, and you've heard it many times before, if Julio's not here, the Falcons don't have a chance to win a Super Bowl. I don't think if Julio's on the field, the Falcons will make the playoffs. Because right now, the way things are going, I mean, you got to have Julio Jones. Julio Jones played several times, like you said, hurt last year. But even though he was hurt, if he was on the field, teams still defended him like he was 100%. That's how I feel about Julio Jones, and I don't understand why some people they want to just like you're talking. Well, I'm not gonna go there with politics right now. They want to find a negative about him and try to use that to say he shouldn't get his money. But this man is very effective when he's on the field, and not just his rank, not just because he's ranked number 4. You got to get the man his money. Like I was saying earlier, and like I said, the guy from ESPN was saying, he said, "Is there a way that it can be done?" I should have recorded and played it so everybody could hear it. But they said there's a way. You can go back to his next 2 years of contract, take the money from there, bring the money up here. Because if he's worth it right now, why not? If you can't do it and it don't affect any other players, why not go back and take the money? It's not going to affect your cap. It's not going to affect the money you're going to give.
I debated. Can I ask you this question, Dennis?
Sure.
And I think you'll be totally honest with me. Not just on this situation right here, this Julio Jones. But just think back for a second since Arthur Blank has been an owner of this team. Now, I want you to answer this. Think about this for a second before you answer. Since Arthur Blank has been an owner of this team, has he given you an impression as an owner of the Falcons that he's not willing to take care of his players?
Arthur Blank made a statement today he's going to stay out and let Dimitrov handle it.
D?
He made a statement today that he's going to
answer
stand
that
back.
question?
I'm answering that way. No, he is not. He is not. And like he said, he's going to let his general manager.
He's not giving you. See, he's not giving you the impression that he won't take care of his players. Is that correct?
He's not. But he's giving his general manager a chance to do their job.
What makes you think then? I asked that question for this answer. Whether you gave it the other way, I would still say what I'm getting ready to say. Because I believe he is not, as an owner, unlike many other teams that I can name, owners who don't take care of their players. Arthur Blank have went out of his way year in and year out since owning this ball club, from building a stadium downtown with his own money, which making it laid out the best facility, having food out there for his guys, covering up guys like Michael Vick. Arthur Blank has shown a consistent behavior as an owner that he will take care of his players. Why did I say all that? Because I don't believe in this situation as it stands right now, he doesn't want, it's not in his heart to say, I don't want Julio Jones. I think, so the Falcons, when I said him, I said the Falcons. You know, because right now, they say he hasn't weighed in. I believe Arthur Blank has given a wink or nod.
He weighed in today. He said what I said, that he's going to give Dimitrov. You know what I believe Arthur Blank said? I believe Arthur Blank looked at Dimitrov and say, you guys handle it. If it can be, if you can pay this, if you can pay this guy.
I'm not going to speculate.
Let me say,
I'm not going to speculate on what I don't know.
I'm going to speculate.
I'm going to go on what I know.
Wait a minute. You asked me what I think about Arthur Blank. I know Arthur Blank is I believe he's a fair person.
I asked you what I thought.
He does a lot.
Do you think he'll take care of his players?
I do. I really do. So why do you think he's going to take care of Julio? So I believe, I'm going to tell you if you let me. Well, I believe he probably went to Dimitrov and his board and the rest of his the people in charge. He said, "Listen, I'm gonna let you guys handle this. If it can be done and it doesn't affect the other players and it doesn't affect our cap, let's make it happen." And we're gonna see what's gonna happen. I believe Arthur Blank would have said something like that. You there? Hello? Okay. So what do you think?
Well, are you asking me about Arthur Blank?
Yeah.
When Arthur Blank, just say you said that Arthur, you believe this. Again, I don't know what he said because I won't know specific what he said, but I think the actions of the team give me some indication of what he initially believed should be a certain way. Whether you said he said this, and I'm gonna use that example. You said he went to this president and Mr. Dimitrov, the general manager.
I didn't say he was scared. I didn't say he was scared.
He said you said you believe he said do what you got to do to get this taken care of. And so in his thinking,
as long as it don't affect the cap,
now looking at this,
and don't affect any other players.
He said so.
Contracts.
In his thinking, let's say his thinking was when he said that. All right, do you believe if his thinking was, guys, just as he thought this way, I'm gonna go tell these guys to do what they need to do. But if I tell them that, guess what I'm gonna get? I'm gonna get a guy holding out. I'm gonna get a lot of controversy sitting around my team. I'm going to go in here and have a whole bunch of mess because that guy ain't going to show up. I don't believe when he said that he had it in his mind. He believed that these guys were going to get it done based on what this guy was going to do. That means Julio. If he knew it was about money and that's all that needed to be done, he could have said, well, guys, I'm going to have the check, give it to him no matter what it is. He telling these guys, you do what you got to do, but you keep the team best interest in your decision. He didn't expect him to do that. And at the end of the day,
Bigtime.
It's all on Julio Jones.
Bigtime. No, it's
not.
No, it's not.
I don't believe the Falcon doesn't want Julio Jones.
I'm pretty sure Julio Jones and his agents are familiar with what's been done in the past. Let me ask you a question, okay? Since you asked me the question, let me ask you a question. Do you think it will be a problem? Now, I understand what you're saying about if you start doing something now differently than other players are going to expect it when their time come up. But if Julio has money on the back end of his contract and you bring that money up front and it doesn't affect your cap, and that way it'll satisfy him, so now he's getting paid the same money that he's already owed, but they're giving it to him at a different time, and also when other players' contract come up, it's not going to affect anything. Do you think that's a problem? Or do you agree with that?
No,
well, that's what I'm trying to say.
But here's what I also add to that. I believe the Falcons have already made that type of offer.
Well, we don't know that. We don't know that.
See, but the media has put out that Julio Jones people said he want new money. See, this is not renegotiating a contract that's already here. Julio Jones says, here's typically how negotiating a contract that has money already there. Just say he got $60 million, and you got $45 million over that you got left to pay him. Julio said, well, I got $45 million left. I want 40 of that million. You ain't changed none of the money up. You just guaranteeing him more.
Right, but next year you can change the contract.
It's been reported that Julio Jones wants new money. He wants new money.
You keep saying it's being reported. It was only you heard the same thing I heard. The only thing it says Julio Jones. No, I didn't hear he said. I didn't hear it. I didn't hear
it. D. They say he wants new money.
Okay.
D, if all they gonna do is change his money around, D, this man is too valuable to the Falcons. They know this. They're not trying to strong arm this man from a position that we just gonna. If anything, they're doing it from the position, and I agree with the position. If they including that thought in their position, I think they are.
Okay.
We don't want to send the wrong message because we don't want guys that into their contract 3 years, 4 years guys that say, "Well, I'm good as him." They don't have another tight end, and right now I don't see them having draft on tight end. So guess what I'm finna do? I'm finna go in here and go to the office and tell them I want a new contract, or I'm going to hold out.
So I think I'm clear on what you're saying now. So what you're saying is that you don't think the Falcons should give Julio any money because Julio's trying to strong arm the team to make them give him more money, and it's going to set a precedent for the other players coming up to do the same thing.
Yes, to do the same thing. You cannot get into this is what the thrust of the whole argument has been. I've been listening to it for over a month.
What should the
New Orleans have done it. Seattle done it. Dallas have even done that. They went in there and paid guys that want their contract negotiated. Gave guys doing a lot of different things for guys based on the guys want to do it. Well, when you got other guys that's coming up, especially when you got a lot of guys, the thing that the Falcons can do right now, and they can't do it with Julio Jones. This is how team normally do, especially when that guy it's time for his contract to be renewed. They do what they call franchise that player. They franchise that player, meaning the league give them a specialized rule to say you can give that player X number of dollars outside of the salary cap for 1 year, and that is to set aside that contract to next year. Then you can put him up to a new contract based on a new set of circumstances. Well, Julio Jones doesn't fit that category right now because he has 3 whole years left on his contract. You cannot go in.
We're talking about what Julio is at on his contract. You tell me what I want to hear from you is then. You tell me what the Falcons can do to satisfy Julio and get Julio back on the field. What can they do with his contract? What can they do? What kind of offer can they make him?
They can tell Julio Jones is what they said. They reporters have told him. Julio, give us 1 more year of the current contract.
Didn't work. We tried that.
Give us 1 more year of
Did not
current
work.
contract. And guess what? Next year we can talk about this.
Did it? We tried that already. So that didn't work. So what's your second thing you would do? That didn't work.
Well, the second thing that I would say do just what the Falcons are doing. Tell Julio Jones every day you miss training camp, you are going to be fined. And as long as you can stay out over there and be fine, we're going to continue to go with the team.
Now you're hurting the team. Now you're hurting the team.
Well, he's hurting the team because
ain't no he. It's a team. Team is ain't no I in team. Ain't no I in team. You need to do what you got to do when you got when you.
He's acting like I. He's acting like I because
look. The Falcons are control of this wagon, man.
Because every day he missed training camp, he's losing money.
Cooley don't care about no money. He got sponsors and all that stuff. He not care about money. He not care about losing no money. He's not worried about losing no money. If he was, he'd be at practice right now.
They don't put no fine. They don't put fine on guys because they know them guys don't gonna lose.
He got about 5 or 6 sponsors making probably more money he making one season. So I mean, a lot of times they make more money in sponsorship than doing the season.
You know why? Regular players who aren't very good and make a lot of money don't do this? Because they can't afford to do it. Well, if Julio Jones can afford to do it, fine. They put a fine on there because that's what they're telling you. Just like they put a fine on you for hitting somebody wrong. Every player in the NBA, every time he get a technical foul, he gets fined $225,000 in the NFL, in the NBA. Every time you get a technical foul, it's a $25,000 fine. They're charging you to say, we are trying to punish you because you are breaking the rules that we have. You have a right to not show up. What if a guy say, you know what? We're supposed to be the training camp on Friday. I'm not coming to Monday.
You still didn't answer my question.
What? I just told you what they should do. I told you first.
I told you that didn't work because they tried to say we're not going to give you the money.
I gave you the second option. Do just what they are doing. Do just what they're doing.
What are they doing?
They tell him, if you don't show up to training camp, we're going to fine you.
But that's not solving the problem. I asked you, what can they do to solve this problem? They got to meet him somewhere. We don't know what discussion they've had already. But what I'm saying is, what can they do to help?
If it was me, I would say for me, I would wait and here's what they already know they're doing. My first day and throughout this training camp is going to be not only about plays and so forth and so on, but one of the number one things I'm going to be having them closed door meeting with my players, I'm going to be telling them, here's what your talking points is. Here's what your talking points is. That means here's what you're supposed to say to the media about this.
I understand.
Because what I was the Falcon,
I agree with that.
I would dig down and say to Julio Jones and the other players, I am not going to budge. And if it means, because it's not a guarantee, because why is it a guarantee? We got other receivers. Ain't none of them as good as Julio Jones, but we cannot let one player be the difference. I would say this about Julio Jones.
That one player, Julio Jones, is the difference in the Atlanta Falcons. If Julio Jones is not on this field, if Julio Jones does not play, it will affect the Atlanta Falcons for the 2018-2019 season. We need Julio Jones. The Falcons don't have an opportunity. They don't have a chance. In my opinion, they don't have a chance to make the Super Bowl. They going back to what we had the conversation we had earlier.
I think that's a wishful thought more than a fact that you have, because one could argue. Here's why we don't know, and it's a thought that you have, and that's your prerogative. So what you saying is what you saying is they do have an opportunity to go to Super Bowl without Julio Jones. You think they have a good chance? A good chance? Well, I didn't say good chance. You said do they have an opportunity? There's a difference between opportunity and good chance.
I'm sorry. Let me change that word. Do they have a good chance?
No, they don't have a good chance.
They have a slim chance.
Yes, they do.
Very, very, very slim.
Well, you can put all the additives on that chance you want. Very, very dog, whatever way you want.
Drew Brees got to get hurt. Other teams, a lot of people got to get hurt for them to make that Super Bowl.
Because you know what? This is not golf. This is not tennis. This is not all these sports that you play by yourself. This is a team sport. And the Falcons got brotherhood. Let me be blunt.
Let me be blunt. Let me be blunt. Matt Ryan can't do it without Julio Jones. He can't do it. He would be sacked. He would have more pressure than he had all season long if Julio Jones is not in the ball game. I said it before, and I'm saying it again. Matt Ryan needs Julio Jones for several reasons.
Let me add.
Go ahead.
Matt Ryan can't do it with Julio Jones because they hadn't did it yet. So you acting like this man is so important that if he hadn't, he ain't did it with him. And we don't know if he can't do it without him because we don't know if he ain't been there. Here's what we do know. He done missed a lot of in-game chances he needed to be in the game when he was on the sideline holding a hamstring or something else he had wrong. And they won them games, and they lost a lot of games. So you can't tell me what they can't do without him because it ain't happened. I know what they have done with him, and that is lost. They have lost with him. And so that is a fact because we got records to show that. They won game with Mike Smith, and they lost game with Julio Jones and Mike Smith and Matt Ryan. They won game with Freeman and Mike Smith and Julio Jones, and they lost game. The first year that dude got here, they won 5 games and they won their first 5 games and lost the next 8, wind up being 8-8 with Julio Jones. I don't care how good a player is, it's a team sport. It's a team sport. That's why you got coaches. That's why you got film sessions. This is why we got training camp, Julio Jones, because we training for players. What you think? So you tell me right now and say, okay, if Julio Jones went in here, they gave him what he wanted. And everybody like you happy, including Julio Jones. Now, there's a possibility because I can't control that.
Wouldn't you be happy
Julio
too?
Jones go out there.
Would you be happy?
I would not be happy.
What difference does it make? Because he's on the field. He's with the team. So now you sound like you're against him. You would not be happy if they gave him what he wanted.
Can I ask you a question? I will be happy for Julio Jones if the Falcons did not do something that sent the wrong message to the team, and if it hurt the salary cap and hurt the money down the line. And I don't believe the Falcons are going to be. This is why I also believe this. This thing right here is more about as much about a message to the other players whose contract is coming up next year as it is about the money. The money may be the least of the issue. Because I know Arthur Blank is being reported today that have said, and which he's supposed to say this, Julio Jones is a player for life, a Falcon for life. I don't think Arthur Blank hurting for no money. But if Arthur Blank told them guys, wait a minute now, Mr. Dimitroff and Pat and Rich McKay, you guys went in there and signed the guy this amount of money. You damaged the team finances for the future. And now third game, Julio Jones done broke his leg. And that could have happened. You and all them other people be going like, oh, okay, I'm glad Julio Jones got their money. And 3 years down the road, gee, Julio Jones is 30 years old, man. Come on now. This dude, you know the average age of ending a career in the NFL by just guys retiring or injuries or whatever is 30. It's 30. Julio Jones with all that talent y'all say he got, which I agree, he's 30 years old, my brother. The Falcons got to make wise decisions and best decision move for the benefit of the business, man.
Julio's 29. I'm sorry. He's 29.
Hey, come on, man.
He's born February 8th.
They got to make the move
February
for
8th,
the business, man.
1989.
And I'm not against him getting his money. You know what I'm against? If you got 3 years left on your contract, you got three. This man, at the time he signed this contract, it was the best receiving contract in the NFL.
That's true. But things have changed since then.
Here we are, 3 years out of this contract. He's coming back to the Falcons and saying, you know what? I want more money. I want you to redo my contract, tear it up, and give me more money.
This happens in the NFL all the time, Eddie.
Yes, it does. And guess what? All the time in the NFL,
it's the first time it happened to the Falcons, right? That's why it's a problem.
The Pittsburgh Steelers and the New England Patriots and I can go a list of teams that tell players, no, brother, we're not gonna do it. We're not gonna do it. Now you don't hear about it as much because guess what? Them teams quietly go up in there and say, you know what that player does? Most of the time, and I heard this report today. You know why? Most times you don't hear it. What you hear in the media is the team came to an agreement with that player. And guess what you don't hear? That player went in there and signed for less than he signed. He ain't satisfied with it. He signed to go back to work. Because I tell you this, and the Falcons got to bank on this, and I hope they do. When that Falcon opening night, Thursday night, at the Georgia Dome, their first home game going to be on a Thursday night, prime time, at the Georgia Dome. The Dome rocking. And it's going to be more energy in that Dome this year than ever before because you know why? The Atlanta United soccer team have brought so much fire and energy to that stadium till it is pathetic. Indeed, the Falcons are a Super Bowl contending team this year who will be hosting the Super Bowl in that building Thursday night. First game, home game for the Falcons. Julio Jones going to be still sitting back there going, oh, my goodness. Now, I'm already making $10 million a year. I'm among the highest paid receivers in the game right now.
Well, he's not the highest paid. He's not the highest paid.
I say among. I didn't say he was.
He's probably number 10.
No, well, whatever he is, he among the highest. And he going to look at that and go, okay, now whatever I try to do, and it ain't work. See, there's a difference. It's like being out of work. I ain't been out of work a lot, but I know people who have. And you know what it's about being out of work? I've been out of work, but I know how it is, and I know people who have. It's not about sometimes. Not only do you sometimes, and not most people, and I won't say most, a lot of people, it ain't about, I don't have no money to pay my bills. I got all the freedom in the world to do what I want. You know what starts to get on you after you be out of work for a while? Nobody want me. I'm not good at what I do. He got Julio Jones going like, my abilities are what I thought they were. I shouldn't be in this position. The Falcons should have gave me what I want. It's starting to mess with your psyche because you ain't doing what you love to do and what you are capable of doing. That's what takes a person out who's out of work. You know, I'd rather be working than to be at home with a whole bunch of money and not happy. If I'm working, I'm happy. Julio Jones, yeah, he got money.
Julio Jones, you want to know the salary? Antonio Brown is one right now at $68 million. Julio Jones at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wait a minute, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He's number 9 at $71 million. Well, that's his total contract, but he's number 9 in paid and for his
so you talking about looking at that deal. All right, there are. So you said number 9.
9 other receivers making more money than Julio Jones.
Okay, so looking at this, so you said every team in the NFL there are 15 teams. All right, no, it's actually 30.
32.
So it's 32. So that means if you got 2 receivers, I'm gonna put your 2 top receivers. I'm not gonna name the other 4 or 5 receivers on the average team, but I'm gonna say 2 on each team. So that's 64 receivers. 64 of the top receivers. I'm talking about 1 and 2. If I were to go number 1 receiver, let's say there's 32 of them. So he number how many again? In paid?
He number 9. Right.
Just said 32 now. He just said 32, but let's be fair and say 64 because you got 2 of them on each team. That's 64. Okay, let's go 3. That's gonna be 64. Guess what it is? That's 97. So of the top 3 receivers on every team, that's like a Julio Jones, Sanu, and Calvin Ridley. And we're going to put Calvin Ridley, I named the Falcon, but there are players around the league that's better than Calvin Ridley because he'll Falcon rookie. So I just put of the top 90, just said I'm going to round that number off. Top 100 players, receivers in the game. Jones, where he at again? Number 9?
Number 9.
And you crying about what?
Antonio Brown, Mike Evans.
So you talking about you know
Watts,
that tells me
Landry,
you know that tells me
Adams and Jones.
Yeah, so that tells me then that that's a great thing you bring it up. That kind of tells me
how many of those players in the top 5 of the NFL?
No, I ain't talking about top 5 in the NFL. That's a number again. We're talking about salaries now based on, he believed that he is, from what he probably would say to you, I'm the number 1 player in the NFL. But let's give the players who picked him the credit for what they picked him at.
The players picked
but
him.
But you're still looking at when you start talking about position by position, this man is the 9th highest paid player in his position in the NFL. In his position, he's the 9th highest in his position. That means if you single out the receivers, he's still the 9th top highest paid player. So that tells me there's a going rate for receivers. We don't know what it is, but that's also telling me if he being at number 9, he ain't far off the number for the top receiver in pay. So we probably talking, if we already know he getting $10 million this year, that means Julio Jones might be fighting over $3 to $4 million per year, $3 more million per year salary. And I'm just looking at breaking down a year because he's looking at the bigger picture. He probably want the number of years on it. He probably want more money up front. There's a lot of factors, but let's just break it down for the year salary. If we talking this man average about $45 million a year, somebody said this on the radio, one of the commentators. I said this to you earlier. He wants to know when Julio Jones could probably, and let me throw this in there. Jones could probably, and this is going to be a lot more pressure on him to do this as this thing continue to go along. Julio, you need to speak out. I ain't talking about from your agent, or even he may not come and say nothing. You need to have somebody, agent.
I don't think he need to talk. I think the agent needs to speak for him. I think the
somebody
agent
needs to come up and
because
make
his
a
job.
statement.
I disagree with you there because I think the player job is to play football. You pay
an agent
to do the speaking for you. Let the agent step up and say what they want.
He ain't playing, and that's probably why he ain't saying it. But I say this, you're right. Somebody need to say something so we can understand where his head has a little bit. He has not said a mummy word. Here's what his actions have said. His actions have said way back in April when he took all his gear off the Falcons website.
Well, Eddie, I think what Julio was trying to do was trying to work it in-house. I think Julio hadn't said anything because, like you said, other teams in the past have said we came to an agreement. I think what he wanted to do was come to an agreement with the Falcons, saying, "Hey, look, let's change where we were, and I want to go in a different direction." But I think he tried that, but it didn't work. And then when it finally got when the information leaked out to the media, and they found out that he had a problem, then it all got blown up. And it's still, I think he's still trying to work it out. But like you said,
we can speculate.
Well, I mean, nothing was said. We know there was a conversation, but we don't know what was said.
And this is what this show is about, and what we do. We speculate, we chop it up. But I also like to base this show, as we do, on what we know as factual. Factual is not we being in the boardroom. Factual is what the media.
I agree. We don't know. But we know it's a conversation, but we don't know what was said.
I'm putting on what has been said. I like this, what you just did, D. When you went and reviewed where this man ranked at in terms of paid players for his position. And I like to hear what you say about the analysis that I just drew when I said he being the ninth highest paid receiver among the top receivers at each position. Every team got a top receiver. Whether they're as good as Julio Jones or not, obviously they're not. But we have to say 32 teams got 32 number one receivers. He's still number 9. See, let's go to number 2. Well, he's still number 9 among 64. Because it's a top 2 receiver. Then we talking about Julio and Sanu. Every team got a Julio and Sanu. They may not be as good as Julio and Sanu, but they'll consider that team go-to guys. What is your take, D, on the fact that he's the 9th best paid guy in his position, and he's still causing this much disruption to his team? In light of, before you answer, let me say this. This is totally out of character for him. What's going on, D? What do you think? Why do you think he should be complaining? Do you think he has a legitimate complaint based on what you just dug up?
I think the Falcons need to give Julio let me say it this way. The Falcons should meet Julio halfway, at least. Try to make some type of negotiation. We haven't heard anything, whether they have tried to make a settlement with him or not. Like I said, that's the biggest thing. The fans haven't really heard anything. The only thing we know, they've been in conversation. The Falcons said no. That's the only thing we've heard. But I think for the team's sake, and I'm all about the team, and I want to make it this perfectly clear for whoever hears this show, that I am 110% Falcon fans. I love my Falcons, and I'm all the way. I'm a team person, and I feel like they need to get this settled. I want something, whatever it takes to get it settled and get Julio back on the practice field. That every day he's away from the practice field it shortens our chance of making it to not only the playoff, but making it to the Super Bowl. I think we got a great chance this year. I think we got a lot of talent. And I'm tired of this conversation, and I'm tired of hearing about they're not paying him and he's not getting the money, whatever. I hope Julio Jones is not selfish. If the Falcons have tried to meet him halfway, then I'm gonna be a little upset with Julio Jones. I'm a Julio Jones fan, like most people are as well. But I'm a bigger Falcons fan. So I want to see something happen. I don't like this deadlock thing. This deadlock thing is not helping anybody. It's not helping the brotherhood. And but like I said, we don't know, and that's the biggest thing. I've heard many people in the media on both sides, the networks and other talk stations, saying that we haven't heard anything, and that's what people want. People want to hear Julio Jones say something. I don't care if Julio Jones speaks or not. I prefer him not to speak, because when he speaks, the only thing people are gonna do is try to condemn him and say, he want this or he want that. I prefer to hear his agent speak, and I prefer to hear the Falcons say, "This is what we're gonna try to do for Julio." Let's get this thing solved, man. I know it might be a little late now. I don't think it's too late to get it solved by Friday.
Yeah, we got plenty of time. Yeah. The season doesn't start before another month and a half.
Yeah.
And so we got plenty of time. And I agree with you 100%. That is what we do agree on tonight. There need to be, and probably will be, a prepared statement from both sides of this. But I also have to say that stand by my belief that the Falcons are doing the right thing. Don't send the wrong message to guys that's coming up. Do what you got to do what you got to do. And one can argue by not paying him and continue to cause him and put him in a position to hold out is sending the wrong message. Well, there are a lot of players, I believe, understand the business side of this game. And whether Julio Jones is selfish or not, we don't know, but his actions appear to be. And on the business side of this, he has to understand that this team got to do what is in the best interest of the team. And I believe that decision by the Falcons to give Matt Ryan the money, that decision that the Falcons did to pick Calvin Ridley, and among other things, is what prompted Julio Jones to say, I am going to challenge him. And I think in the end, he will lose and the Falcon will lose. And I hope that does not happen.
We both agree. Big Time has been the mic has been hot. It's been very hot. I'm hoping the next time we get on the mic, and I hope by the weekend, by the time the Falcons start up, if not next week, the week after, that we will see some progress with the Falcons and Julio Jones. We definitely need it back on the field. We're both big Falcons fans, and I think a lot of time, folks, we talk like we do, and because we love our Falcons, and we want to see the best for them. We're not from Chicago. We're not from L.A. We're not from New Orleans. Hey, we're a Falcons fan, and when you care about your team, you talk like we do. Hey, this is why the mic is hot is so important. Everybody has an opinion, and we think your opinion should be heard, whether it's not necessarily right or wrong, because it's your opinion. And this is what the mic is hot all about. It's been a long night, Big Time. I know it's time for you to get in. I know you got a lot of work to do, and I appreciate you taking time out your busy day and with your family. Tell them I apologize, but this is something that had to be heard. This is something that we had to do, man. Something we had to do. The mic is hot. I'm DJ Thomas. Big Time. We'll holler.
Okay.
All right, man.